Howdy, and welcome to The Dirty Dish. I'm Diana Nguyen, your host. And hello. Oh my goodness, what a whirlwind the last 4 weeks has been. The Melbourne International Comedy Festival has finished. I am now available to the world again. My friends are like, hello, Diana, are you still alive? I'm like, yes, I am. I've been hustling one-on-one on these podcast episodes. I've been doing fertility stuff. I've also been taking care of myself. And yeah, I did a show. I did a show called Pedestal. If you saw it, you know the secret. And you, this audience, will eventually find out on May 1st. I will be revealing to you what is happening in my life. But because you didn't pay for a ticket, I'm not going to let you know yet. I just felt like May 1st, first day of the month, feels really good and exciting for me. And yeah, I'm just going to let that sit for me. I'm just going to enjoy the ride of how the comedy festival has ended for me. I did a count of the shows that I've done in the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, the largest comedy festival in the world. There are 3 comedy festivals in the world which are very well known. There's Edinburgh, there's Montreal, and there's Melbourne. Edinburgh has over 2,000 shows, full of shows of different artistry genres, not just comedy. Montreal is a curated invitation only where you'll have to audition or get invited because you're a big name for Montreal. And that's a smaller community of comedians who fly to Montreal. And the Melbourne International Comedy Festival is the largest. And this is the little story about how I got into comedy at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival in 2011. Now, I should have done this podcast before and marketed it, but I bumped into Felicity Ward, who still doesn't understand how much her work kind of opened the door for me to really use comedy as a space of storytelling. And I bumped into Felicity four nights ago, just before we wrapped up the comedy festival. Bumped into her outside Comedy Republic, and I was like, oh my God, Felicity. And she knows I've always messaged her going, Felicity, you don't understand how you guided me. And in chatting to her downstairs, I realized when I had met her in 2010, watching her show back in the Melbourne Town Hall, it was her second show she'd ever done. Second show. And the year later, I somehow convinced my high school girlfriend, Fiona Chow, and our high school teacher, Mr. Steve McPhail, to perform at the International Comedy Festival because of Felicity Ward. I know it's also my determination, my hustle, and my drive to make work, but you always need that Kickstarter. And I remember sitting in Felicity Ward's show, just in that background, watching people laugh. There's probably about 100 people just laughing about 4 stories she was sharing. And there was a guitarist sitting there. And I just thought, oh my God, if people can laugh simply with storytelling, then I can do something. That kickstarted into performing me, Fee and Me Too, Phil and Me, and Fee and Me The Best Of. That was 2011, 2012, 13, year off 2014, and then 2015, Fee and Me. And that was the last time Fee and Me was performed as its entirety. And to anyone who knows me from that era, thank you so much. It was a full journey. I was a baby who had no idea how to make a show or to produce a show. But I somehow, in my community development skills, I was able to get us funding. We utilized the skills of Fiona and Steve McPhail. We used curtains and staging from my old high school. I don't know if they still know we did. And we set up the stage using their help, somehow sold out our first 2 weeks by people lining outside Guildford Lane Gallery. And I was at Guildford Lane last weekend and I just had a memory lane. Like, oh my God, we did this 15 years ago. And then somehow we did a preview launch a month before Comedy Festival and the word went out. And we got this amazing review from the Herald Sun, 4 stars. And I said to Fiona, we got to do another week. The momentum's there. And we sold out our 3 shows in the first 24 hours. I'm so grateful I got the opportunity to do that. If I was a better producer, if I had experience, I would have gotten the show on the road. I would have reached out to the Melbourne International Comedy Festival and said, hey, we're here, we're multicultural, we've got stories that people want to listen to. But I didn't know. I didn't know this stuff until I did stand up in 2016. And, 2016 is the year I launched my stand-up career, where I decided that I was going to show up and talk about, what it is for Diana to take off her shield these characters just to perform, like Fee and me playing the mother of a refugee mum. I had to take that character off. I wanted people to meet me, Diana, in her mid-30s doing this. No, I was actually 30 years old when I did Dirty Diana. I was 31. I was a baby. I was such a baby doing stand-up. And look at me now, 10 years later, still doing stand-up and just loving the whole experience. And I know in my heart, like I love the art of comedy, but what gives me the greatest joy is the community, the people, whether your audience or tech, front of house, my colleagues. I'm so grateful because if I can go back to 2011, 2012, it was pretty desolate. Like there were not many Asian diverse comedians performing. I remember when I saw Ronnie Cheng in 2012 and he had legally sold out. I remember going to his extra show at 11:30 at Trades Hall, watching this guy. And it's like, damn, he's going to blow up. And he has and continually does. And I saw Aaron Chen in 2017 winning Best Newcomer. And I was like, this kid's weird. And look at him now. And just to see these talented Asian Australians leaving this land and nailing it overseas has been my core, really. That's why I think we made Fee and Me in 2019 to a web series so that the world can meet us. I think that's why I've gone to Edinburgh and I performed in the US so that people can meet me. And yeah, it's been really wonderful to see from going to like a really small handful of Asian Australian or diverse comedians to now having this collective of really awesome colleagues. I also think in my mindset as well, starting out in the film and TV and theatre industry where writing of Asian characters is very limited. And I felt like I was competing and fighting for these roles with my other Asian Australian colleagues. And I think that tokenism really hurt me. It also hurt my career and mindset that I was competing, and jealousy and envy was the main drive to succeed. I have to say, getting into comedy and watching myself in it and watching the collective of women and friendships I have now have in my life, my goodness, like it was everything, and everything I wanted this year was to dance with my fellow friends on the dance floor and celebrate what we've achieved, whether you've done a week of comedy or 4 weeks or 2 weeks or you're just doing it. It's just so wonderful to see that the tokenism is taken out of the picture. We are not just the one of, but we are celebrating together and we are stronger together. And it's so good. It's so powerful. I usually do these 3 things, which is called learn, love, and leave behind. And I would love to do that as a process of finishing up at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. I am doing 3 shows in Sydney and I'm so excited because Sydney, I adore you. You do show up. So please book your tickets to see my Sydney show at Pedestal, at the Enmore and the Sutherland Pavilion as well. We're doing 3 shows in May. But yeah, I do want to wrap up the Melbourne International Comedy Festival because people understand how crazy this festival is. There are 800 shows. What did I learn from this experience is social media marketing strategy is so important that I need to start working on it now so that in 12 months' time when I do my show, I've already filled it. Instead of like, I'm going to be flyering or paying marketing while in the festival, I saw my awesome friends nail the memo and sell out tickets to their shows and were just able to show up to their people. And I just realized I've got to get myself, Diana Nguyen, out there and keep working because I love this work so much. It pays off when you meet your people, when your people buy your tickets, when you hear them laughing. I have this immense drive now, and to those social media creators, to these comedians who are showing up for yourself, congratulations. It has paid off, and I admire you for doing your comedy, doing the best of your comedy and supporting community. Yeah, these people that's what I've learned. What I would like to leave behind. I, for many years, have had a massive imposter syndrome. And I feel like when I took off that year last year to do what I needed to do to take care of myself, to love myself, to, have abundance of joy, it really paid off because this year, when anyone asked me how was the show, I said, I had a great time and it was joyful. I did it for me. I wasn't doing for numbers. I did spots when I wanted to, and I probably did more spots this time than I've ever done in a festival time, which is telling. I've done more spots in the last 6 months than I've done in my whole career. And so I feel that abundance now of Diana Nguyen, you are working And I know that if I keep showing up and working and doing those spots, I'm going to get better. And so I have learnt to leave behind my imposter syndrome because I love this work so much. Number 3 is love. My goodness, I loved writing this show, Pedestal. Pedestal was about taking love off the pedestal. It was about, Didi, what would you do if you loved yourself more than anything else? And what if you took the traditional love of, the man or him off it and just did things for yourself? And this was the show. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. A review, The Age, thank you. Leela, thank you. But one review that sticks with me is my dearest friend, Fiona Chow from Fee and Me. She knows me. She's known me since I was in primary school. She's kind of judgy because she has the right. She's known me all my life. She's seen me make mistakes. And I get nervous when she's in the audience. Going all in, I didn't like her in the audience. Sunny Side Up, it was much better. But Pedestal, I remember leaving the show, went for drinks, and she said, Didi, that's my favorite show of yours. It was so much fun. You had callbacks. It felt like you were at ease. And yeah, that was my favorite review from my primary school girlfriend. She knows that of me, and I know that of myself, that I had such a great time doing the show. I've got 3 more shows of Pedestal in 3 weeks' time. I would love to see you there. And also May 1st, I will be sharing you this journey that I've been letting you know, but we're going all in. I will see you, Sydney, in 3 weeks' time. And other than that, there'll be more podcast episodes coming up of interviews I have backlogged. I've got so many backlogged of comedians and also dear friends who have been such an awesome insight to the world for me. Welcome to the Dirty Dish.